Hello again. It's been a while since we've done a YouTube video, but that's actually good news because that means we've been building more content into our Baby Photo Academy courses. So we've spent a lot of time working on continually updating our coursework, and sometimes that comes at the sacrifice of our YouTube videos. But today's YouTube video comes from our Baby Photo Academy VIP group. The only way to join this group is to purchase the course, and then we add you to the group. So if you want to be a part of this group where we do feedback Fridays, mentoring from me, in order to be a part of this amazing group, you do have to purchase the course. So babyphotoacademy.com, you can purchase the course. I'm giving you a little secret. There's a big Black Friday special coming up, and I know this video will not always be playing on Black Friday, but Black Friday in the year 2020, we're having a great sale on our course, and it's the lowest price we're ever going to have it listed at. So while we're talking about the Baby Photo Academy, please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and hit the bell so that you receive notifications when we post our new videos. So this came from one of our members. She's had a rough client. And I think every photographer that's ever shot for more than even a month has probably dealt with some sort of problem with a client. This person in particular shot a whole session. I've seen the images. They're beautiful. She has a client that is unhappy with the images. So as we were talking about this and ways to handle clients like that, I came up with some 5 things. I have to use one hand. 5 things. Some of the things that I specifically have dealt with harder clients are concerns like you deliver the gallery and they message you and they say, I don't like my pictures. That doesn't happen. I think in my 17-year career, that's happened twice, but it does happen. Another issue that probably happens more frequently for me is that the client hasn't received their gallery yet and the due date has passed. A concern that I get every once in a while from a client is they receive their prints and they don't love them. Like there's maybe a color issue. We've had one time where there was just a big scratch right through the middle of a print. So with those in mind, when I say an unhappy client, I don't necessarily mean one that's just, like that. But these are some of the concerns we see. So the number one thing that I think is the most important, no matter what the client's concern is to empathize with them. Because whether the concern they have is your fault or whether it's their fault or it's a misunderstanding or something completely out of your control, to them it's important and to them it's something they're struggling with and you need to empathize with them. So when they call you and they say, I don't like my pictures, their feelings are valid whether you agree with them or not. They're feeling upset with their pictures and you need to validate that and you need to say, I'm sorry that you don't like your pictures. Let's talk about it. And that leads me to the next point. Let's talk about it, getting down to the main issue. I'm sorry you don't love your pictures. Can you help me understand by telling me exactly what's wrong with them? So maybe what she's going to tell you is, I just don't like the way I look in the pictures. And that's something obviously that's out of your control. If mom's having body issues, body image issues, and that's why she's unhappy with the pictures, it may take a little bit more caressing and a little bit more finessing to help her to enjoy the pictures. The base root of the problem is very important. I don't like my pictures. My gallery hasn't been delivered. My print looks bad. Can you tell me exactly what it is that's wrong with the print so that I know if it's my fault as the photographer or if it's the lab's fault or maybe UPS damaged the box? So finding out the base problem. Number 3. So number 1 was empathize with the client. Number 2 is getting down to the base problem. And number 3, be honest. If it is your fault, you need to take the blame and be honest. Apologize without excuses. I'm sorry. You can also say, I'm sorry. How can I make this right? I'm sorry I didn't deliver your images on time. How can I make this right? Be honest. Don't say, I'm sorry, your images haven't been delivered, but there was an emergency in the family. unless there really was an emergency in the family. Number 4, at your cost, make it right. So I have a story about glasses. I have to wear glasses to see things, but in the video, obviously the reflection. So I went to the eye doctor and told them after hours and hours of editing, my eyes get really tired. So they suggested putting a filter, UV filter, so that my eyes aren't as tired. Great idea, I said. I go and pick up my glasses later and they're tinted, which I didn't notice until I had edited a full gallery. So I get done and, we do the this thing, we're tired, we've been editing, and I look up at the image I had just edited and it looked different on the screen than it had when I was wearing my glasses. So I immediately do this thing to try to figure out, and I noticed the tint. I call my eye doctor. They apologized and suggested that I bring in my last pair of frames, an older pair of frames, and they would put in new lenses without the tint. So then I would have a pair that I could wear when I'm not editing, while I'm maybe sending out emails, and then I could have a pair that I was wearing while I was editing. And I thought that was a great resolution. So far, they've fixed all of my unhappy client concerns, right? Challenging client concerns. So I took my lenses down, or my old frames down, and a couple days later, I get a call and they had broken my frames. The problem was that they weren't willing to make it right on their dime. I felt like the blame was on me. Their reasoning was because the frames were older, they're more susceptible to break, which is true. And I think if they had told me that from the beginning so that I had been aware, maybe I would have chosen not to replace the frames or the lenses, because I really did like those frames. The problem is that I felt like it was my fault that I had brought in older lenses, and they weren't willing to make it right on their dime. They told me I could spend $99 to replace the frames, and I felt so frustrated because I wasn't the one that broke the frames, no matter if they were old or if they were new. I also knew, because I'm in business, I also knew that their cost was not $95. And the cost for them to make it right at their cost to have a happy customer would have gone very, very far. What ended up happening is they were not willing to fix the glasses. They would not budge on me paying $95, and they lost a client. I have now changed eye doctors, so they ended up losing a client. And I'm estimating that probably the cost of frames on their end was only around $45. So the reason I tell the story, if it was your fault, at your cost, make it right. Period. If the session was bad because you posed mom wrong and her body wasn't posed flatteringly, reshoot the session. If you didn't get the gallery to them as promised, offer them an upgraded print. If their print doesn't look good and it's your fault, reprint the print. At your cost, make it right. Number 5, if it is not your fault, or if it was something out of your control, at your expense, make it right. Within reason, of course. So when I say within reason, I would say within $50. If it's going to cost you $50 or less, make it right. If it's not your fault that the print doesn't look good, reprint it at your cost. So even if it's not your fault or if it's out of your control, it will go a long way for your business if you make it right on your dime. So if they don't like the way they look just because of body image and you did your very best posing, offer a reshoot. Maybe help them pick some outfits that are a little more flattering. Even if they picked the wrong image in their gallery. We had a problem with an image getting, or a set of images getting shipped to the wrong place. So I get a call from the client. She didn't get her images. I look on tracking. They got shipped. I called up my lab, Bay Photo. I called up my lab. They immediately reprinted and sent it free of charge. They didn't charge me. They didn't charge me. they didn't charge the client. Within reason, make it right, even if it was out of your control. Going out of your way to fix things will go a long way to having a loyal client. Some clients won't ever be happy. If you've gone through the 5 steps and you've empathized with them and you've tried to get down to the base of the problem and you've admitted fault and apologized if it was your fault, and you've done what you can to make it right, whether it was your fault or not, if you've done all of that and the client still isn't happy, it is okay to tell that client that your business isn't a good fit for them and to let them find another photographer. I hope these 5 steps of number 1, empathizing with your client. Number 2, getting down to the base root of the problem. Number 3, apologizing, honestly apologizing without excuses if it was your fault and asking them how you can make it right. Number 4, making it right at your cost if it was your fault. And number 5, making it right at your cost, even if it wasn't your fault, within reason. So those 5 things I hope you can use next time you have a rough client, because no matter how long you've been in business, you're going to have rough clients. Have a fantastic day, and we will see you later.